EA CEO Andrew Wilson pocketed payday bonuses totaling $38 million, thanks in part to Battlefield 6's smash success. And that's after layoffs across all the studios that made the game earlier this year. Welcome to Inside Games Daily, the only gaming news show brave enough to say this sucks real bad.
Yes, that kind of bravery we don't hear much on the internet these days, calling out rich people that don't even know we're alive. But hey, we're here to do it bravely. And hey, guess what? It gets even worse. Wilson isn't the only EA executive pocketing buckets of money in stocks, while untold numbers of developers are back on the job market looking for work, probably getting auto-declined by AI agents. It sucks out there in 26, let me tell you.
Yeah, so let's start off. Eurogamer reported the very distasteful news after combing through Electronic Arts' 10K report, which discloses financial performance. And in the report, they found that EA CEO Andrew Wilson received a total of $38.7 million in stock awards and bonus payments. Really well deserved. Good job, buddy.
No, the 100 millionaire really needed more money this year. Definitely. Wilson's compensation breaks down like this: $28.4 million in stock, $6.5 million in cash, and $2.3 million in other compensation. That includes, and this isn't a joke, private jet usage and personal security services.
Is his DoorDash premium account listed on there too? Who knows how many bonuses those executive gets, man. Good times out there. I just realized too, all this stock is going to pay off extra big when this private Saudi Arabian deal goes through, but we'll get to that in a minute. That makes it even extra galling. So their payday isn't even tied to the performance of the company at that point. Sorry, anyway. Apologies, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting a little more angry before I should. Let's list all the other executives and their compensation packages. I'm sure that'll calm me down. EA CFO Stuart Canfield took home $11.3 million. President Laura Miele pocketed $13.7 million. Chief People Officer Mala Singh banked $8.3 million, and Chief Legal Officer Jacob Schatz got $8.4 million.
All right, I'm on vacation, but I'm just going to yell into the void for a second. Ah! And yes, according to the 10K filing, these healthy payouts are due to EA's extremely successful year. Battlefield 6 achieved meeting all milestones for a high-quality launch. EA Sports FC achieved meeting specified retention goal, meeting audience growth targets for FC Mobile in specified geography, and meeting key product execution milestones. Skate surpassed its player goal, and EA Sports American Football passed its specific purchase goal, whatever that means.
I felt like Skate was supposed to be a complete failure. I thought everyone thought it was a failure, but I guess it was just enough so that an executive could get $8 million. EA also patted itself on the back for rolling out AI across the country. This is just the worst across the company. Again, according to the 10K report, EA entered key strategic AI partnerships, invested into a Gen AI framework and all-around used AI to advance, quote, research, expansion, and efficiency.
Wow. Everything sounds great. Good job, EA. Love it. We sure do love hearing about how hardworking executives finally get the pay they deserve, especially for rolling out AI. That's our favorite. Unfortunately, there's just no room in that some $80 million executive bonus payout budget to keep the developers that actually make the games employed. Real tricky.
No, that would be dirty communism. We're not going to do that. Pay people equitably. The unsavory backdrop here is that despite Battlefield 6's record-setting launch, it topped the sales charts in the US for 2025 and sold 7 million copies in 3 days. EA still laid off an undisclosed number of employees across Criterion, DICE, Ripple Effect, and Motive Studios back in March. Because, yeah, that's what happens. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you succeed or you fail. If the guys at the top making hundreds of millions of dollars want to lay you off, your ass is getting laid off.
Electronic Arts is also in the middle of a $55 billion leveraged buyout deal with Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, which I'm sure most of you know. Once that deal goes through, we won't see headlines like this anymore. Not because they stop happening, but EA will be privately owned and will no longer be required to file public disclosures like this 10K. So, it's safe to assume those bonuses will go up.
Yeah, and all under the cloak of private business. That's fun. The acquisition, which will mostly be done with borrowed debt, will settle EA with a very large amount of money that they have to pay back, but probably also, like I had suddenly realized in the intro, will pay out big on all these shares that these executives are pocketing right now.
Yeah, and I guess if we talk bad about it going forward, they'll Jamal Khashoggi us. Like, EA will just send in their hit squad. Not to be cynical, I wouldn't want to do that. But yes, that will likely result in even more widespread layoffs and more aggressive game monetization. And if you don't believe me, look at what's happening at Xbox right now.
Yeah, that's true. Hey guys, remember when we reported about the layoffs at Double Fine yesterday, and I said they're going to lay off some people, but then of course the Xbox CEOs get to pocket more money, and then I saw a bunch of comments that said, Bruce, you're wrong. They laid off people that weren't working. No, I wasn't wrong. It turns out I wasn't wrong at all. People at the top continue to pocket more money. They laid off. Battlefield 6 was the top. I love Battlefield, by the way. Battlefield 6, the top seller from last year. They made an amazing video game, and they laid people off. Unbelievable. Man, it makes me so angry. I cannot express how angry I am at seeing this. Obviously, the Saudi Arabia acquisition sucks. That whole thing sucks. And I know a lot of people at DICE, at these studios that make this video game. I know them personally. They're great. They're terrific developers, and they made a fantastic fucking video game. And they're in danger of getting laid off because motherfucker took $40 million 1 year. Oh.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Bruce. I did a little napkin math here. Let's see here. Since DICE is based in Sweden, I took the high end of the median game developer salary in Sweden off of the first Google result. I just tried to see roughly how many developers in Sweden, again, paid at the top of the pay scale, could they keep employed for a year on the executive bonus package, which is around 80 million. It turns out, again, napkin math here, but around 1,174 developers could all be paid top end of the game developer salary in Sweden with the compensation package that these 5 executives get. So that's pretty gross. And yeah, whenever it really is just min-maxing the business, and that's what business people do. One aspect here that I think is kind of fascinating is that we always hear about the layoffs, but we never really hear about the volume of hiring. It's because a lot of these companies intentionally operate with churn. They hire new people and constantly lay people off as this sort of like constant kind of cement mixer, bringing in new employees and then firing the ones they don't like. And that way they can not only scoop up all the developers so their competition doesn't get them, they kind of get right of first refusal, but they can constantly basically keep people through a revolving door that not only keeps all of your employees worried about their own mortality, but then you get to cherry pick the ones that selectively overproduce and keep them on the payroll and toss out everybody else that wants to go home at a normal hour. So it's kind of gross. Gaming executives don't often say that. I think John Riccitiello, funny talking of EA, Riccitiello even said that, like in an interview, very misguidedly said that this was his intentional practice, that they overhire so they can do layoffs and constantly cycle through employees and keep the ones that they like. So I think that this is just more evidence of that. And yes, the system rewards the people who put this system in place because it earns money and keeps costs down. So it's gross. It's really gross. But Battlefield 6 is really good. So we can unfortunately live in a reality with two truths, but man, why can't Battlefield 6 be made by somebody who's not owned by EA or Saudi Arabia? That would be so much more fun to support.
Yeah, it's just straight up exploitation. And I think EA sits at the pinnacle of the worst practices of the video game industry. And if you don't believe me, ask any studio that was bought by EA and later closed down. They hated it. They did it to Origin. They did it to a million companies. It's the worst. It is people sitting at the top who probably don't even know or care or appreciate games. They just see dollar signs. They're exploiting people with an actual legitimate passion for the business who do make great games like Battlefield 6. And once they're done, fire them. They just use them like circus animals and take them out in the back and shoot them in the back of the head. I think it's so shitty to take away somebody's job when you don't necessarily have to, because that's how people pay their bills, feed their families, all that. It's so awful. And for 5 people at the top to make obscene amounts of wealth, I think is disgusting. And I think we need to call it out as much as possible, even if it doesn't matter, but just to raise awareness that EA fucking sucks.
It's really interesting too, because this is their chance. This is Andrew Wilson's chance. He's been CEO since 2013. This is his chance to be like, you know what? Battlefield 6 was a success because of our developers. I'm going to give my bonus over to whoever, distribute it amongst the employees. Or I'll take a pay cut and we won't lay anybody off. Just one of those things. That's all he had to do. Literally all he had to do. It's been done before. Other CEOs have done it. So all he had to do was be like, you know what? I don't need the stock. I'm good. I've got hundreds of millions of dollars. Let's just do this instead. And motherfucker didn't. He just said, nah, took the check. And by the way, also didn't suffer when they released Battlefield 2042. That was, by all accounts, not a success. Andrew Wilson decided to stay on somehow. Probably took a bonus that year as well, just so you know. But it wasn't as big as the bonus for Battlefield 6 because Battlefield 6 was a success. That's the worst part of this, is that it was a success. He laid people off and took a bonus. If this is the most evil bullshit that you can do. This is the kind of shit that I see in government. This is this is just evil. There is no other way around it.
Yeah, heads I win, tails you lose. Yeah.
Yeah, there's really no negative consequence here, apart from maybe enduring the shame of the populace. But yeah, people tend to get over that pretty quickly. I'm going to guess that Andrew Wilson needs the books to look as appealing as possible going into the Saudi Arabian acquisition. They have to look as profitable and as lean as possible to provide some vague business notion that they may actually be able to pay down this massive debt that they're going to take on for the acquisition. But of course, Wilson's not going to be there for all that, right? He's going to make the company look as appealing as possible. He's going to preside over the acquisition. He's going to pocket all the money from it. And the second that anything starts to sour on the vine, he's out. He's out. It's not his problem anymore. He made his money. He did the job to the applause and the bonuses of all of his business comrades. It's kind of like Bobby Kotick, you know? He executed the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Even though he was mired in controversy at the time, none of it stuck. And he cruised right through it, made a massive payday, took Activision Blizzard from a small company to one that was acquired for multiple billions of dollars. A business success story, the likes of which we don't really see that often in American business. And yeah, now he gets to sit back and decide what his next move is going to be for fun. Maybe he'll get into sports. That's kind of a common thing I've noticed. A lot of gaming execs like to go to sports after they've conquered the realms here. So yeah, it's this is what big business looks like. There's no industry that doesn't function like this once it gets up into this territory. So we get to enjoy the big expensive games, but there's a human cost on the back end of it, and it sucks. It sucks real bad.
And it doesn't have to be like this. There's employee-owned businesses. Studios operate that way. Some businesses, I know that the mainstream media doesn't want you to realize that, but it doesn't have to be structured this way. People can have a more equitable stake in the business that they're generating wealth for. And I would love that to catch on. I don't know if that will ever happen or not on a large scale, but yeah, there are co-ops. There are other ways of organizing a business to more, again, equitably distribute the wealth, but this ain't it.
I think it's a natural selection thing. A company that operates that way will never get to the size of EA because it's not meant to. Companies get that big because they eat people alive. That's how they get to that size, and that's how Andrew Wilson can get to a $38 million payday. If you actually believe in sharing the wealth and being equitable, you don't really get to that place because you're not hiring and firing cheap labor and making as much money off of every individual employee that you can. It does put a kind of a natural cap on the size of your team and the size of your business, but I massively prefer that. I'd rather 500 smaller companies that are all operating sustainably than an EA that just devours and shits out whatever it can.
Yeah, the company that made Dead Cells, they're employee owned. They're straight up. I don't know if they're political lean, but very left. But yeah, and they're not big, but they made a great game, and they're making other great games. So it is possible.
Yes, that's correct. There are better ways of doing it. Andrew Wilson could have done it. And he didn't. Thank you very much for watching Inside Games Daily. We don't file 10K reports, but rest assured, nobody here has made $38 million. Let me check my bank account. No, I have not made $38 million. There would be signs, definitely. We are humble games reporters, but we are excessively grateful for your support watching on here on YouTube. We also have a Patreon that you can support if you want to throw a couple extra bucks our way to allow us to make more content, just like Brian, who's on vacation. So thank you very much to our Patreon supporters over there. Humble High Horse, Bellingieri, Jorge, a beer villain, Wildred, and Trip McNeely for keeping that the entrepreneurial spirit alive. I can't even say entrepreneurial. I'm so upset about Andrew Wilson.
Hey, he started selling lemonade on the street corner just like the rest of us. I'm sure of it. Just his humble business acumen, smart, can-do, industrial spirit. Sure. Who are his parents, I wonder?
I'm sure they're blue links on Wikipedia. Yeah,
I know.